Welcome to MidLIFE Matters, where we celebrate women's wisdom and wit. I'm Georgianne Lucia, your host, and I'm delighted to introduce today's guest, Erin Ambler, who is the program director at the Wallingford Senior Center, and she has an amazing array of experience and talents. So welcome, Erin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to have some fun tonight and really learn a lot about someone who's lived in a lot of different states, done many different things. And,
I have.
And where you are today.
Yeah.
I've heard that Wallingford Senior Center is considered a jewel in the system within the state of Connecticut, very well regarded. And you've worked there about 4 years. And what do you find most enjoyable about being on that staff?
Well, first of all, I feel blessed that I am working at Wallingford Senior Center. I would consider it at least the top three. We really are a high-functioning center with a lot of activity, so I feel very, very lucky to have gotten the director position here. And quite frankly, I love it. I really do.
And you started at a different level? Did you get promoted recently?
I did. I was in a wonderful creative position before I got director. I was coordinator, and I came up with all sorts of program design. And it was thrilling, actually. It was very, very fun, and I got to understand a lot of the people there and the culture there, and I really naturalized myself. And then I felt I was really ready to step into the role as director, and even more things together.
Do you find that being kind of kicked upstairs, you're doing more administrative work and less creative work?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. It does come with that, but, you know, I can still advise and work with, it's made up of many, many volunteers.
Yes.
So with that, I can advise more and help others with their program design or their ideas and what they want to bring.
All right.
And so, yeah, a little different role, but still very creative.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's important for creative people to have jobs that support that creativity, draw on it, utilize it.
Absolutely.
Right, then that can be a real push-pull for I know many people, you know, looking for a more standard job, but with that element in it.
Absolutely.
So what about some of the programs? Just briefly, I met you at the Veterans Coffee House that my husband goes to monthly, and he was giving a version of his time in Vietnam as a helicopter pilot, and, you know, fussing with the audiovisual equipment, and there was a little glitch in there, and, you know, all the things that happen when you know, typically when you're trying to do something like that. Yeah. And I don't really have a tremendous sense of all the programs that are offered through the center. So could you describe them, kind of the major categories?
Yeah, we break them down with monthly, weekly, daily.
Okay.
And then within the subject. So we have lecture series, we have health topics, creative arts clubs and topics, fitness, and then entertainment. That's a big one.
Okay.
Lots of things fall under the entertainment umbrella. Just so many things, from soup to nuts, really.
Yeah. What kinds of trends are you observing as to when you say, you know, your eyes lit up a little bit with the entertainment?
Well, people like the entertainment.
Yeah.
We have a nice budget for that where we can bring in different singers or bands, or we just recently had Jukebox Bingo, which ended up being a tremendous hit that happened last week. They raved and loved it.
Okay.
Good social event to do. It was in the daytime. Trending, I would say pickleball.
Okay.
That's a huge thing that's up and coming. It's been out there, but the seniors or the older adult are really embracing it. For those that don't know, pickleball, it's kind of a table tennis / badminton hybrid game that's done on a modified tennis court, and it's easy to pick up on, so people love it.
Okay.
So we have that. Just last year, I created cardio drumming, which is a hoot, and we have big, large resistor balls. We put it in a bucket with drumsticks, and to music, we do rhythm and repeat rhythm. We move all around, standing or sitting, and, you know, play familiar songs people love, and they just love that.
Okay.
I'm trying to start a citizen science, which means we're fortunate to be located on a small lake or a large pond, however you want to call it. And there's so much bird activity. We see
Okay.
so many different parts of wildlife. We've had bobcat sightings and osprey, eagles, swans, and all different ducks that visit. So the citizen science, I am wanting to put a computer there where people can log sightings and contribute to data.
Great.
So, yeah. So lots of fun things.
And just going back to like this drumming, so where would you get your idea for that? Is that something you know was happening in another site? Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
It was brought to my attention by one of the members. They saw it on YouTube.
Okay.
And I said, all right. And I have a strong background in fitness. That was my past career prior to COVID. Did a lot of class design with fitness.
Okay.
So I said, oh, this is right up my alley. I'll do it. And so I went to Home Depot and Walmart and gathered up all the materials and just started to write down my class design.
Okay.
So play different tracks. We do about it for about 35 minutes. And people love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how would you characterize the participants and the members of the center? I mean, you talk about the programs being, at different periodical events, timing, whether it's monthly, weekly, daily, etc. Do you find that you have kind of a critical mass of regulars, or does that fluctuate throughout the month?
We do have repeat visits,
Okay.
which is good. We have close to a 3,000 membership base.
Oh, wow.
Daily, I would say 100 visits daily. Sometime, and if we have a large program like a concert or something,
Right.
obviously that'll go up to 300 for the day.
And so people would maybe be in maybe they play cards a couple days a week, or it
Right.
would depend on the different clubs.
Now, yeah, it's funny you bring that up. So that's a good question. We monitor our attendance heavily because then we tell the town,
Right.
these are the resources that are being used and money well spent.
Right.
When people arrive in the door, there's a computer screen where you pull up your name by swiping your card, and then on the computer screen, you just tap on the different activities you're doing for that day, and then
Okay.
it counts your attendance.
Well, that's part of your administrative responsibilities is to feed into all of the data that's going
Absolutely.
to a major funder like, I guess, the town,
Yep.
right? And then, as I understand it, sometimes people make donations, maybe in memory of a family member or someone that was very involved in the center.
We do get donations.
Okay.
Some of them are very generous,
Do you do fundraisers for like a particular event or program or group?
We like the programs to break even for the most part.
Okay.
Because we are a nonprofit. So as long as we can cover costs for the programs, we feel successful. There are certain programs that will make a profit, but then we can offset other costs
Right.
with the money. One of our largest programs of the year is our holiday craft fair. We do very, very well with that.
Okay.
Very well attended. We have close to 600 people that come across the threshold and purchase holiday gifts and things like that. We do really well.
So is that open to a range of vendors? Is that something that some of the members also?
The members are very, very much involved.
Okay.
So we have a whole quilting club that make these beautiful, beautiful quilts that sell for hundreds of dollars.
Okay.
All donated. Our knitters, they knit all year long. Not only do they donate to the craft fair, but they donate to Master Mana
Okay.
or heating shelters and things like that.
Yeah.
Veterans, they're always looking for places to donate.
Yep.
So they're part of that. We have crafters that make just the cutest little ornaments or, things that people would love to purchase at Christmas time.
Yep.
We have artists that paint. They're
Okay.
professional paintings, photographers, they sell their art.
Okay.
So it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you have some of those annual events, and people are probably feeling they're giving back.
that's right. And it's interesting because as soon as we put the sign out on the table said, this is nonprofit, all proceeds benefit the Wallingford Senior Center, people want to give more.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
they
really
wanna-
nice.
Want to be part of things. So what would you say are some of the major benefits? I'm sure many people, and I'm in the age group, I'm certainly a senior, who think, oh, that's not for me. Or maybe family members think, oh, would that really be of such an advantage for, say, my mom or whoever to go? What do you see some of the benefits of being involved with the senior?
It is great to be accountable to something or your friends and the socialization. It's the most important part. And honestly, the people that are coming to the center, they're not the ones with that feel the stigma. It's those that don't go to the center. You know, and I'll meet somebody maybe 75, 80 years old, and they say, oh, that's for old people. And it's just unfortunate because honestly, the center is vibrant with very accomplished people, you know, people of all professions that have so much to offer and to share, and resources, you know, everywhere. You ask wherever you know, you can, if you need help with something, you have resources for you, you know.
I know you've said you learn from the members, so can you think of some ways that you gain a different perspective working with them?
Well, I do. Like I said, they're a great group of people, supportive group of people. I love the camaraderie among them, all of them as a group. They're there to help each other. And they realize they need each other at that stage in their life.
Okay.
And so I commend that. And it's hopeful when you see that. But lots of people I can go to if I have questions about things, because they've seen a thing or two.
Right, right. And so I know that there's like food, transportation, there's some of the other basics, right?
Yes, our transportation is for free. You need to call ahead of time, but they'll take you to your doctor's appointment or take you shopping to the grocery store, or to a hair appointment, get you to the center, get you home. We do have a food program too, a very affordable cafe, or some people qualify for the food program that comes in. And we try really hard to keep meals affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I've eaten there. My mom, who's passed, but I had gone with her to a couple of things, and it was a very friendly, welcoming place.
Yeah, they do a great
And the
job.
food was good. Absolutely. So you're still teaching some programs, yes, even though you're the director?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, and I really insisted upon that when I got hired, because I need to be out there with the people.
Okay.
I want them to know that they feel comfortable coming to me, and they can let me know how things are going. I get a feel of a better understanding, get a temperature and gauge of what people are experiencing from their perspective. So I insisted on that. So yeah, I am.
Wonderful.
I enjoy that.
So you're keeping your hands in all of it. You're not just behind the glass.
Correct.
One example I know you shared with me is that you got your degree in fine arts, and you're a photographer, and you, do I understand it, you teach some photography classes at the senior center?
Yes. Found that there was an important aspect of keeping up with technology. And this age group, they need guidance.
Right.
And so I bridged the gap between photography and learning your smartphone.
Okay.
So anyone's welcome with their traditional digital camera, SLR. However, I put greater emphasis on the smartphone because we could kill two birds with one stone.
Okay.
We could get the understanding of composition and different topics of art through the camera lens, but we also got practice by going through your phone and finding things, manipulating things, learning applications.
Yeah.
And it just got real big. People loved it.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know some llamas were involved. Oh, alpacas. Okay. So what would be the situation where they would be photographing alpacas?
Of course, I can't just sit still. So I said, we have to do field trips. So in the summertime, I made arrangements once a month to use one of our vans and transport the photography club to a location where we can photograph. Sure, Alpaca Valley. Cheshire.
Okay.
It's in Cheshire. Free. She invited us over, and we got to meet the alpacas and photograph them, and they're funny animals.
Yeah.
So I knew it would be good photography.
Right.
And people really loved it.
Do you have any contests at the senior center where, like, I know I was on a board of a hospital, and they had photography displays and judges, and so some of it was, you know, ribbons were awarded or
Right.
whatever. Is that part of the culture?
Yeah, it is. We have a chili contest coming up in
Nice.
February.
Okay.
So that's a contest that
Yeah.
we do that they like. So we're going to be doing a chili contest in February where they earn prizes. We have the Fine Arts Flower and Verse Show every June.
All right.
Beautiful. Again, amazing artists that come and show their artwork. And the art is presented first. Then the Wallingford Garden Club comes in, chooses a picture that speaks to them,
Okay.
and then they create a flower arrangement from the artwork.
Nice.
And then we have from the Wallingford Library the Poet Club that writes a verse to it, and
Perfect.
it's a really fun event.
Yeah.
So photography is part of that.
Yeah.
Of course, acrylic painting. We've had sculpture that last year. So it's very, very well received by the public.
Well, and it's interesting to hear that you connect with other community resources and groups, like the library, the flower group,
Yeah.
garden club, etc. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Maintaining those relationships and thinking of ways to keep things integrated, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just a little bit more about the stigma of the older adult. I mean, I've done a little bit of work in my HR consulting with other municipalities where I interviewed people like yourself or the leader of the senior center, whatever, and some people spoke about different kind of age segments of people. Certainly some of it is based on ability, or let's say different segments, some on ability, some on ages. So do you find there's kind of the newer group to retirement, and then there's people that have been retired a longer period of time, or does that come into play at all?
We are putting long-range planning into our newsletter, our network, which involves trying to open more in the evenings and on the weekends.
Okay.
It is on the plate. So we want to add that because the older adult is working a little bit longer now.
Right.
Retirement change is different with people.
Right.
We open our doors at the age of 60 and up. But we find that 70 to 75 is the average person that can utilize and maximize on the
Okay.
most that we have because so many people are still working.
Yeah.
So we'd like to change that. Younger ones will go on the hikes, or snowshoeing, kayaking, evening programming,
Yeah.
Things like lots of travel. We have the travel programming too, where you can sign up and get a little discount through the center. And wonderful trips throughout the year.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So that's an interesting societal shift, that people don't just stop working at 65, some clock or whatever, 66, working part-time.
That's
and-
right.
Right. And so they're really afforded an opportunity to see what they might take advantage of once they do have more free time. If they
Right.
start while they're still working in some capacity, I would think.
right.
Right? That helps them picture things they might want to get more involved or
Or
build
start
on.
something. And that is very popular because we're so heavily dependent on the volunteers at the center.
Right.
So many people are actually teaching the workshops.
Yeah.
Members are
Okay.
volunteering and teaching the workshops themselves.
I want to draw on all those talents and levels of energy and abilities, and yeah. Talk about you a little bit. I mentioned you have a degree in fine arts, and then you moved into fitness and coaching. Tell us about how kind of the red thread that goes through all of that.
I like to wear a lot of hats, and I like to teach. So I like to move. I like music. So yeah, I mean, if it wasn't doing artwork, then I had to find a way to move all my life. And teaching fitness was perfect for me, and I did it for
Okay.
years. I still do it. I do it at the center too. I teach
Okay.
fitness at the center, and just coming up with class design and helping people set goals, reach their goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really love that. Yeah.
The motivational aspect of
Right.
programming and kind of guiding people, helping them see what they might be
yeah.
able to accomplish. And you mentioned that you have, probably since you're 18, held multiple jobs at one time. So even right now, even though you're the program director, you're still doing things outside of that role. So thank you for coming this evening,
Yeah, of
because it seems
course.
like you're a very busy lady. And some of that work has been what could be characterized as menial. And you mentioned to me that you thought there's a real value in people engaging in a wide variety of tasks and jobs, and that you learn from each of those. So you want to talk a little bit about some of the jobs you've had?
Sure. I mean, I've done everything from food service to working in retail, working at a large place similar to Home Depot or Lowe's,
Okay.
all those things. Just always something to learn. I like to keep busy with different things, and
Yep.
you might as
You're
well.
open to a wide array of opportunities, and then I'm sure you learn, as you say, you learn things, and then you bring it to other things that you're doing. So you're really a classic learner,
Right,
right? Yeah, and you like to help other people learn.
right. I like
Okay.
to
Yeah.
absorb my world.
Okay, that's a beautiful term. And you were born in Oregon, and you've lived in 7 states. So tell us a little bit about how all those came about.
My father, I would like to say he was a professional student.
Okay.
So he taught at many different universities. So that's what bounced me around the country.
Okay.
But I started in Oregon, then Texas, then New Jersey, many summers in Iowa,
Okay.
Pennsylvania, Connecticut.
Okay.
Went to school at Syracuse, New York,
All right.
and then down to my ex-husband's graduate school at Charlottesville, Virginia. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of
bet.
states and met a lot of people.
And how would you characterize Wallingford, Connecticut and the Senior Center in terms of, well, reputations? So I've always lived in Wallingford, but, well, not pretty much always in Wallingford. Anyway, in Connecticut, but my mom was from Kansas, and my dad was born in West Virginia, and his family were immigrants from Hungary. And so we had the real melting pot going
Yeah.
on, and we had family in Colorado and California, etc. I know that just the way we speak, we talk a little faster, and like my relatives would say, you sound like you're from New York. I mean, just, and I've traveled on business, and I would go to different states, and they just had impressions about what Connecticut is like, for example, right? Not always depicting us as the friendliest, most open environment. So what was your experience?
Connecticut definitely grew on me.
Okay.
Now I would definitely say I'm a New Englander.
Okay.
The first time being in Wallingford, I feel rooted. This is the first time I've actually had a job in the same town that I live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
So that's very cool. Being a mile away from my job, that's
Yep.
very cool. I've never had that before.
So you feel part of the community, and certainly with the role that you're in, you've
Right.
really immersed yourself in learning about people that are centered in this location and what they're all about and what they want to do and how they're aging.
Exactly. I definitely feel rooted, and I never had that feeling before.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we get to our own midlife, back and think about who we were back then. So what advice would you give your younger self, say, early, like mid-20s, and then maybe another life stage?
Patience.
Okay.
I think if I were to do some things again, I probably would have taken it in stride a little slower.
Okay.
Now when you reflect back, like, there were some really fun times. You don't have to rush it.
Okay.
So I would definitely say patience.
Is there anything as you got further along in your life, like in terms of career choices, or just how you made decisions about how you moved around? Is there anything that you, upon reflection, learned from all that, or advice you'd give yourself about that?
The most part, it was reacting a lot.
Okay.
You have to react and adapt to what's being presented, and trying to make money and making ends meet and things like that. I would say that's what drove me to make the many changes that I have in my life.
I've heard many other guests say they would have maybe not rushed it so much, as far as just feeling like time is of the essence and
Yeah.
everything kind of has to happen now, right?
Right. There's something to say for that.
Okay. And do you have a favorite quote?
I love Marilyn Monroe.
Okay.
So a quote that resonated with me, if I observed all the rules I would have never gotten anywhere.
Okay, there you go. Well, it sounds like you have gotten to many places, and this is one of them, and thank you for including us in that. So please tune in to hear other fascinating women on future segments of Midlife Matters. I'm Georgianne Lucier, your host, and thank you for joining us.